you might see that they probably have one antenna sticking out and one of them sticking maybe downward or something. I know I had a dog, and a lot of times she would have one ear out and one ear down. That was just kind of the way she rolled. Now, this I'm just eyeballing again, trying to figure out how far out I want that antenna to go. 'Cause I don't really have anything to go by. So let's look at it. I think I want to come over another stitch or two also. Okay, there we go. And now let's put this in. And like I said, it may be a little bit wonky. I don't really care. These are totally whimsical, and they're my bees. Okay, take that away. Let me see if I can get this where you can see it a little bit. I I like where they came out. I think that looks pretty cute. Now I might want to do something. Notice I still have my needle down and in my fabric. But I think I kind of want to do something so that I can make sure my wings are fairly in line with each other. So I'm going to take my Choco liner and I'm going to come out here and I'm just going to make a couple of lines.
I am
Whoop.
so
Wait.
sorry to interrupt here for a second, Anne. Looks like we
Sure.
had a technical difficulty here, and I guess YouTube didn't push it out to everyone, so some people are just now joining. Um, we haven't gotten that far. Would it be too much to ask for you to catch them up just a tiny bit?
Oh, I'd be happy to. I
Thank
would be
you.
happy to. Okay.
Apologies for the trouble, everyone.
Sorry about that. You know what? We are not perfect and we do have technical difficulties from time to time. So, and you know, that's what shows you that we're human and we're not actors in a studio performing this for you. We are real life teachers and coordinators out there doing this. Now, I think I showed y'all are familiar. You've gotten, hopefully, you've gotten your box by now, or will have it soon. There is a butterfly in that box, but also there is a bumblebee within that butterfly. So I've used this template and I made my butterfly body. And I went around it twice because I want to make sure I stitched around it twice. I wanted to make sure that that butterfly body was very prominent and that I could see it really, really well. It's also a really good practice for you because you need to learn how to travel as you are quilting. In other words, how to stitch upon the same line that you just came off of. So that's something important to know. And so I traveled on all the way around the little body. I traveled all the way back and forth on his antenna. And now I'm coming down and getting ready to make his little wings. So I'm going to use this little guy right here. And I want the wing to stick out pretty far. But I don't want it way out here because it would be kind of detached. So what I'm going to do is come in here and actually I need to stitch a little further down. So let's do that. And you see me, I do not have a template in place. I am free motion stitching down to to where I want to be. I'm going to lift this. I'm going to put this in place. And then I'm going to look at it. I think, let's see if we can get this around here. I think that looks like it's going to make a pretty cute wing. And I want to be like back here because I don't really want, I don't want it detached from the body of my little bumblebee. So I'm bringing it in a little bit. And I'm also kind of pointing it, and I'm going to grab mine to look at. I want his little wings to look like he's kind of in flight. So I don't want him straight out from his body. I want him kind of like he's in a forward motion. So that's what I've done on my template too, is brought it into kind of a forward motion. And like I said, I have not really measured anything. You can, if you want to, you can draw out exactly where you want everything to be. But to me, this is pure whimsy, and I just wanted to have fun with it. So here we go. Now remember, I want it really prominent. So I'm going to come back around again. And I'm off a little bit, so just know it happens to us as instructors too. So there's one wing in. I'm going to lift this, and I want to travel around to the other side of the bee, and I'm going to put the other wing in. So if I want to, I can kind of use this guy again and kind of put it in place to kind of help me stitch along that guideline. I don't have to, and if I feel like it's kind of off a little bit, I would pull it away. See, I'm getting a little bit off, so I'm immediately putting it right back into place. There we go. And now I'm ready to put that other wing in. And there again, I want them kind of pointed upward a little bit. That looks, I like that. I like that. So let's go with it. And you know what? I may have a wing that ends up being a little bit longer than the other one. I don't care. That's okay. It's pure whimsy. Okay, so that is in. And remember, he's got little, the rest of his body has these little curved lines in it. So let's go ahead and put those in while we're here. I take this same template that I just used, and I kind of just line everything up to where it looks like it's fairly straight. And come across. And back. Now, that particular stripe is going to be pretty thick because I've got to be able to cut enough of the yellow, or cut enough of the black away that you can see the yellow really well. So let's look at this and see about how much we need. That is more than 1/4 of an inch. I think that would work out just great. So I'm going to stitch across and stitch back over. The next one needs to be kind of skinny because I will not be cutting the black away. I will leave it in place. There we go. And so let's see. There we go. Let's do that. That looks pretty good. And I'm just eyeballing this guy. Remember, he is not going to be perfect. Same thing. I'm going to come back down, and I know I need to come pretty far down because that yellow stripe is going to need to be fairly or wide enough, or that stripe is going to need to be wide enough that I can cut enough yellow in there that it looks like part of his body. And it may even be wider than the other one. I'm good with that. Okay, and then I've got just a little tiny section at the bottom. I'll tell you what, let's come back up a little bit so we have a little bit better bottom part for this little guy. Okay, let's raise this up and get this out of the way so you can see. We have a bee. Now, I'm going to put a couple of eyes in him, and I do kind of want to mark where they go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my thread. And to do that, you're going to raise your ruler foot, you're going to raise your needle, you're going to bring this around, and you're going to needle up and needle down in that spot and bring up the bobbin thread, which is right there. Now I want to mark so that I can have pretty decent looking eyes for the little guy. So here's what I do for that. Here's his antenna. I think an eye should go about right there, and an eye should go about right here. Now that's not the shape his eye is going to be, but that would be pretty cute if we did do it that way. So here's what I do. I kind of start in the middle, bring up my bobbin thread always. And the reason you bring up your bobbin thread is because if you don't, you could build up a little bird's nest in the back of your quilt. And trust me, people are going to turn over your quilt and see the back of it. Maybe not intentionally, but if, say, they're crawling in bed and they have flipped the covers back, they're going to see the back of your quilt. So just know that. So I'm just stitching down, stitching across, stitching down, stitching across, and then I'm just going to do some little tacking right in here. Bring up my bobbin thread again, always. And there is one of the eyes right there. And if I kind of rub that, you can see more of the eye and less of my markings that I had. So let's do the other eye. And if it's okay with you guys, I will take the time today because we have an hour. And I'll take the time today to kind of cut this little bee out, if that's all right with you guys. Just kind of let me know if that's something you want to see. Or let Tucker know and he'll let me know.
Feel free to ask any questions in the chat. We would love to
Absolutely.
hear them and answer them.
Yes. What kind of temperatures is everybody having where they are? I don't think ours has reached 100 yet because we've had a lot of rain, but I'm sure we're in the 90s where we are. Okay, there's my little bumblebee. Now, let me show you how I would cut him out. I happen to prefer Karen K. Buckley's scissors. That's my personal preference. There are a lot of wonderful scissors out there. So you do not have to go with the brand that I use, but I know a lot of people ask and want to know. So let me see if I can cut this out. So let me raise this a little bit. And I like to stay, let's get this where you can see it. I don't like to cut right on that line. I like to stay a little bit away from it, probably about a 16th or a 32nd of an inch. And I'm going to have a little bit of this cut away in a moment. And I'll bring this down really close. Do you see about how much of a border I have left? That's what I like. The reason I do is because if this gets washed multiple times, there's a chance that if I have cut it right up next to the threads, that some of the fabric could actually dislodge. And I don't want that to happen. I want it to look just as nice and fresh 10 years from now as it did the day I made it. And that would be if I didn't wash it very much. 10 years would be a really long time. All right. And I'm trying to watch and make sure you're getting this in your frame. There we go. And I apologize, but my hand does have to be in the way. I've never learned to cut. Wow. There we go. But it's coming along. Do you see it? It's going to be kind of thick. You're going to see a little bit of the yellow right up next to the blue fabric. That's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I'm going to cut out over here. I'm coming up to one of the antenna. See if I can keep this. Let's raise it a little bit. Maybe that way you can. I can. It's easier to keep it in your frame, so you can see what I'm doing. Now, around the end of the antenna, that's probably going to have to be cleaned up a little bit later on. I may have gotten too wide with it, but that's okay. I would rather be too wide than too close. Remember, this fabric, and I'll tell you what, let me lay it down and show you because I know some of you came in, but you may not have seen it. My black fabric has TempLee fuse on it. My yellow fabric does too, because when I'm through with this and I iron it down, I want this whole bead to be firmly secured to my fabric. And I think that the yellow needs to be ironed, needed to be down too, because I don't want it to pull up and, kind of start fraying. So TempLee Fuse is a wonderful product that we have. I used another product in the past before we got TempLee Fuse, and wow, the difference was like night and day. My TempLee Fuse stayed down even through a washing and a drying cycle on the washing machine. Let's just cut this short and get it out of the way. And I thought, you know what? That's what I wanted my quilts. I don't want anything that's going to pull loose and fray and, not be worth the money I paid for it. So I keep plenty of TempLee Fuse in stock. My friends love it. They do a lot of applique, and I'm talking big projects of applique. Like there's one of those uh, patterns out there that has these huge flowers on it, and they do things like that where they may applique a really big item of fabric down and make beautiful quilts, by the way. And some of them do my ruler work too, so it's a lot of fun. We have fun when we get together in retreats. Okay, almost got part of it. Got the body, the big body itself cut away, but then I'm going to get into the little areas and show you how I do those. You want to be really careful because I'm holding this up so that I can make sure I'm not cutting into my blue fabric, because that's kind of the last thing I want is a big gash into that. Almost there. Okay, I'll save that fabric. It might just be big enough for a little tiny bee. We'll see. I've got a little excess right here, so I'm going to trim that up. Get it where you can see it. There we go. Okay, and now I'm ready to kind of start cutting away and revealing his stripes and his wings. Remember, this one is a pretty wide one, so I know that's going to be a yellow stripe. Now I've got a seam ripper here, and hopefully it's a pretty good sharp one. It's not acting like it is, but I want to just reach in and pull up only the black and reveal the yellow. Same thing here. Want to just rip into the black only.
So Sue and Tana are asking what thread you're using.
Good question. This happens to be Wonder Fill, and it's a 40 weight thread. It's a polyester. I do like polyester when I'm doing this kind of work. It has a nice sheen to it, and it just works great.
Oh, we love Wonderful here at So Steady.
Oh,
So
yes.
yeah.
Yes, I do too.
Oh, now Anne is asking, don't bees have four wings?
Hey, whose bee is this? That
We aren't
could
experts. It's
have,
the idea of a bee.
yeah. Yours could have four wings if you want to, but I've already cut away my fabric, so no, I can't go back in and add another wing. Actually, I Googled bees just for some whimsy looking ones, and I did see both. You could have more than one, you could have two wings on each side. They also have feet too. So if you really want to get technical,
Yeah,
I
they're
should have put legs in for him too. But remember, it's my bee and it's my whimsy. So mine
if you
doesn't
make
have
your own
those.
bee, you can make them however you want. Yeah,
Exactly.
and there are different
Yeah.
kinds of bees too. So we accept all bees. We love all the bees.
Yeah. No, a second wing would be cute. It sure would. And just give you more to cut away. And here I was cutting that off screen. So I got a little piece to clear up right there. But see, I have one of his wings uh, cut away. And let's see, bring this back down so you can see. And Karen K. Buckley makes a smaller set of scissors also. The reason I like these so well is because there is a serrated edge on one side, and here it is right here. You may not can see it, but it grips my fabric as I'm cutting it. And that's kind of a big deal when you're doing this kind of work. So that is the only reason really that these are my preference, is that they've got that little grip to them that I wouldn't otherwise have. Making sure I'm trying to keep this in the screen so you can see it. I think he's so cute. This is Bartholomew. My friend Jenny, that comes over and sews with me, she actually named him. I named the smaller one. His name is Ralph. We just thought they needed some really cute, fun names. And how we came up with those, I will never know. We were just batting around names one day and said, "Well, that one looks like Bartholomew. That one looks like well, we got to call this one Ralph then." So, and I'll put him a flower in a minute. I think we have time to do that, and he'll have a colorful flower that he's heading to.
We've
Okay,
got
look at
about
here.
20 minutes.
Okay, I tell you what. Let me go ahead and get to the flower, and then I'll come back and finish cutting him because I would like to to have some of that on there. Now, I could come along, and I know I've got a little picture of some bees that I can't, they're out of my reach, but I could come along with my gold thread and put some little feet out here. And I don't know, he might get those, he might not. I don't know. We'll figure that out. The next time you see him, he might have feet. He's not going to have another set of wings, though. I can tell you that because I already cut the fabric away. Now, I have room on this little guy. Let me smooth everything out really, really good. Here we go. And we'll come back and finish him in a little bit. Of course, I've unthreaded my machine too. Y'all didn't see that. All right, I'm going to use this Spinifex. This is Spinifex number 7, and it makes a cute, cute flower. But I've got to re-thread my machine, so let's do that real quick. I cut it a few minutes ago so that it would be out of my way. Now let's raise that as high as it'll go. Do it again. And if it won't thread, I'll do it the hard way. Yeah, it won't thread. Let's do it this way. Okay, so this is Spinifex number 7. It's a 3-inch and a 5-inch. I have room to put that 5-inch in, so I think that's what I'm going to do. And on this particular one, I have 8 markings, so I'm going to go ahead and do 8 petals. And if we have time to, you know, cut away a couple of pieces of it, we will. Or I'll bring the one behind me over and let you see what that one looked like. I think you saw it a few minutes ago when I had it up on the my design wall. Put my gloves back on. They just help me hang on to those templates so much better. And there's a lot of different brands of gloves out there. Pick the ones that are the most comfortable to you. I know Jenny ordered some recently for a show that we're going to be doing, and hers, I think, do not have fingers in 3 of them. I'm not sure I haven't looked at them, so I'm not sure. But I know that's the kind that she happens to prefer. Now I'm going to just kind of floorboard this so that I get a good, consistent short stitch. If I flip it around to the other side and start stitching, and let me make sure you're in the loop here. Cut that away and get rid of it. There we go. I've got to lower my ruler foot, so I always pull it to the center. I try not to move it or not to do it right. Excuse me. Grab a drink of water. I try not to lower it on the edge here, just in case. I don't want to break a template or mess up the timing in my machine or anything like that. It's just a safety thing. Now, these flowers, you could add a branch to it, a little stem. You could do something fancy in the middle of it. What I like for you to do is think outside the box and come up with your own design. I teach a class, I just taught it last year on Annie's sampler. And of course, in the beginning, all the students were doing exactly what I was doing. And about the 3rd class or so, I would start telling them, okay, think outside the box, come up with some designs of your own using the same templates, but decorate them a little bit differently, maybe. And I think that looks a little bit close. So I'm going to even this up a little bit. I think when I made my lines, I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing. So ignore the lines I have in there and let's go with fake ones. But anyway, you have some fabulous tools that So Steady has created for us, So Steady and Westerly. And you don't have to do exactly what I do or any of the other instructors do. We love it when you come up with your own designs. We absolutely do. Now, I want you to notice in this design, look at this secondary design that's coming along. Do you see that? That is so fun. Now, when I'm doing this as a 6 petal, and I'll show you that in a minute, I don't get that little secondary design. So let me finish this one and then I will pull the other one over close so you can see what I'm talking about. Almost finished. Okay, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 tiny stitches. And then I'm going to just bring up my bobbin thread and show you the flower that I've created. Is that cute or what? I'm going to bring in, I don't, oh, okay. Let me go grab the other one. I'll be right, just take me a second. Okay. This particular flower has 8 petals. What if I only make 6 petals? I don't get that same little additional design that I had, but I still have a beautiful flower. So use your imagination. You could go with just 4 petals in this if you wanted to. I have about 10 minutes, so I will go ahead and cut away a couple of these so you can kind of get an idea. And let me show you something else. This is the one I worked on earlier. And you see all of those flowers kind of go around in a circle. Well, let me show you what I did that with. Well, let me come around. That's probably not a really pretty sight. How many of you have this little guy? That is a new crosshair ruler that So Steady has come out with. It's the circle crosshair ruler. And so to mark this one, I found my center and I decided I wanted this to be, what is that? It's 10 inches. So from here to here is exactly 10 inches. So I made my markings and then I came along and made my additional markings so that I would have 8 of them. And I love, love, love this ruler. I've already ordered some and already sold them, so I will be ordering more. They're pretty awesome. So this is called the Circle Crosshair Ruler. If that's something that interests you, this one's a 12-inch. They also have it in a 6-inch. But that's how I was able to mark where I wanted these flowers to be on this particular design. So I'll move that out of the way. Just wanted to tell you that. And let's go ahead and cut away some of this. Now remember, I don't have the yellow and black around this one, so I have to be kind of really careful. I'm going to pull up the blue, and I kind of want to be able to see a little bit of a glint right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. And I want to cut a slit into it. And there I can see my fabric underneath. So I'll go to the second one. I'll do the same thing. And I just kind of lift it. You see me lifting this because I want to make sure that I don't cut into the reveal fabric. Believe you me, I have cut into the reveal fabric. And that's where Elmer's glue or E6000 comes in really handy. So does beadwork. So does, what's it called, where you thread painting. Thread painting comes in handy. That's what I did on the very first one that I ever made. I did some thread painting to cover up where I had cut into it by mistake. Do we have any questions out there?
doesn't look like anyone's got any questions, but that just might mean you're doing a pretty bang up job at explaining yourself and showing off the project.
Well, I hope so. I hate leaving them speechless.
Well, there's still time if anyone wants to ask any questions. We've got about 8.5 minutes left, so feel free to throw those out there into the void, and we'll shout back. Don't worry.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. Thank you. I can't wait. I'm going to be looking on Westerly by me to see if somebody makes that bee and if they put that additional set of wings in. I'm going to be looking.
Which, by the way, we've been loving all the posts on Wesley by me. A lot more people have been posting their projects on there, so
Yes.
we encourage that. Those are great. Take some nice, clear photos of your stuff. We've been using them in our weekly newsletter, so please send those in. We love them. Um, we do have a question. Donna Banning says, I wanted to know if the Spinifex is the one from this new box.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's number 7 and it's great. And I don't know if you noticed, but bring this around. These little guys were just made from the ovals. So you really have two different styles of flowers that you can play with. Just using your ovals or using that Spinifex number 7. So, we try to think of everything that you might be interested in when they put these boxes together. I have loved them. They're the cutest thing, and they've got all these little projects in them. And I was tickled when I went through mine the other day. I'm going to work with the embroidery uh, probably in the next couple of days, I hope. And next month, when I have my class, there's probably going to be a little bit of embroidery work in that one because I think they do a fabulous job with their embroidery. And I bought an embroidery machine last year so that I could really dive into the embroidery work. I'm I'm not cutting each one of these individually because I'm kind of doing it assembly line style just to make it go a little bit faster for me on my end. But I will make sure I get some of these cut away so that you can see them before our hour ends. Gosh, I appreciate having all of you on a Friday afternoon. I know, some people have weekend plans and things like that, and appreciate you taking your time and spending it with me.
Janet has a question. Do you put the reveal fabric for the flowers under the entire block?
I do. I do because I don't know where all of those flowers are going to end up. I could have one way out here if I want to. And so I do it that way. Now I did just a spot here because I knew, my little guy was going to go right there. And if I decide I want another bee, I will put a spot for that too. It wasn't necessary to do the whole thing in with the bumblebee, but I do like it for the flowers. But that is a thought, and I've done this before. I've added additional layers so that I could have more colors be revealed, or you could even have different fabrics in different places. Now, when you do that, because I have done it before, take a marker like a Choco liner or something and
Oh,
mark
and
where,
uh,
sorry about that, mark
yeah,
where that fabric ends so that you don't run off of it. Okay. Because you could very easily, cut into, run off of the edge of it. So I always just kind of mark mine with my Choco liner or even some straight pins or something like that and make sure that I've got my design centered in there so that I don't cut away too much of it. I could have sworn I had my phone on silent. Maybe I didn't. Okay, do you see how that's coming along? I know we've got what, 2, 3 more minutes, Tucker?
Yeah, about that. About
Okay.
3.5 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep cutting and keep running my mouth. So, if y'all have questions or something, gosh, please throw them out there. This is an older fabric that I had, but it was 2020. So that's why I showed that to you in the beginning because it may still be out there where you can find it. You always check with your local fabric store first. And if they don't have that particular one, they may have something that's just as cute. And I had enough of it that I can go ahead and make about 8 placemats. So that was kind of a big deal to me. I need about that many whenever my family is all in town. We still have to kind of now do a kitty table because there's so many. My one son has 4 children, the other son has one, and we do a kitty table though, so we're all close to each other whenever we're eating, doing holiday meals and stuff. I think this is turning out pretty cute. What do y'all think? How
I think it
many of
looks
you?
fantastic.
Well, thank you. How many of you have gotten your boxes?
I don't think we've shipped them out yet. I think,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we start shipping them out next week, I believe, is what
Oh,
I've been told.
okay.
So this is a little preview.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. Fun stuff.
Who's looking forward to their boxes? How about that?
Yeah. There you go.
Is there one item that you've seen that you're really looking forward to? I had a lot of fun playing with some of the rulers in there. A lot of the promotional material, the reels and images that you see, I actually took all those photos and videos, so I had a lot of fun playing with all that. It's chock full of so many fantastic, lovely little neat accessories and projects.
That's what impressed me about them. There's so much in that box. It's like, oh my gosh. And it's a little bit of everything. Over the whole year, you're going to get such a fantastic collection that you're just going to be wowed.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's about time to wrap up here, but thank you so much for joining us, and you were awesome. You are going to be doing this once a month, aren't you?
I
So,
am.
yeah, that's going to be so excited. We hope to see more of you. It's going to be totally amazing. And thank you so much to everyone coming in. And I'm just going to read some of these out for you. Janet Sasser says, beautiful. Karen says she's getting her box after July 1st. And let's see. Donna says, I like that you printed out the patterns. Everyone's just loving this. It's so cute, the bee and the flower. I just love the colors, the design, the creativity. Thinking of doing this with just some of the stuff in the box. You don't have to. Um, I get it. You're buying a subscription box from us, but sometimes thinking outside of the box is a lot of fun too.
Yeah, and that's
So
what this little guy was. He was totally outside the box.
well, we love that. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for checking in with us. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share this with everyone. You can also watch this back afterwards. I know some of you missed the start of it, but once the stream ends here, you should be able to hit the live tab on our YouTube page. I think it's also available on our Facebook page as well, and you can watch back and see if you want to catch some of the bits at the beginning, or once you get your box, you can try some of this out for yourself. So thank you again so much for watching. Remember, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next one, and you have a wonderful rest of your day and have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye, everyone. Save the bees.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.